Hello, everybody. It's Deloaded here, and this is a very important discussion. This is a retrospective podcast where everyone from last time who met to talk about the update is meeting again 1 month later to kind of have a retrospective. How do we feel 1 month in to the 1.19 update with all of the drama and the changes that happened? I'm here with a lovely cast of people. Let's go ahead and do introductions.
Hello, it's me again. My name is Sirach Drib.
Herm, go ahead.
Uh, Hermetic Lock, just kind of a community organizer.
Wasn't kind of a community griever.
Well, still kind of a community someone.
And this is Todorak again, representing Mason interest.
Everybody is a community this or a community that.
A community member.
Yes, amazing. So let's start with Todorak. Given that it's been 1 month now, and looking back on everything, how do you think the server has changed because of the update? Has it changed in any fundamental way, or what do you think?
I I think my opinion is going to be the same as everyone else's for the most part. But the reception has been generally positive, and especially the Masons, people are like, yeah, this is what he should have just done in the first place. He should have. There should not have been 10 days where he just messed around. It's like he finally did it correctly.
Hmm.
That's the elevator pitch.
It's a very open-ended question. Does anybody else have thoughts about just generally how much the server has changed, if at all?
Look,
I
I'd
mean,
say
I
it's probably. Oh, you go home.
sure. I share Todorak's opinion in that it's probably what Housemasters should have done to begin with. I don't think that that's unpopular by any means. He
Hmm.
really just decided to surprise the community with a whole suite of changes that were quite controversial. That being said, I haven't really returned since the 2 week rollback. Not because I'm like upset with the changes, but more because it just kind of stole my thunder and excitement for the update. And I probably will come back in like a couple months, maybe.
Okay, that's interesting. Sirach, do you have any general thoughts about this whole experience?
At the beginning, I was generally pretty upset with the changes, and obviously, what Todorak said, that should have just been what he had done from the beginning. I think that would have been the best for the server's health and everything. But even knowing everything happened how it did, I'm really happy with the end goal, or I guess how it's turned out now. Like, I've actively played probably 250 to 300 hours in the last month, and I've enjoyed it so much.
Hmm.
It's super surprising, isn't it, that Housemaster actually like succumbed to the will of the
Yeah,
player base.
Yeah.
like I've said it in just private chats with friends and everything, but I've said to, I've like, it's a once in a lifetime change that the community can actually rally together to get something like that change completely reverted.
Yeah,
That's unheard
it's
of
a
on
pretty big
2B.
deal. It's a
Yeah.
it's a pretty big deal. That is one of our topics we're going to cover, like how we think Housemaster handled it. But I want to kind of answer that question myself. Given it's been a month, do I think this update has actually changed the server? That what I really mean by that question is going into this update, everybody thought, at least in my community, that this was going to be like the salvation of the server. That this is where things were really going to turn around because 2B2T had probably been in decline for this entire year, and maybe a little bit at the end of last year too, just in terms of players, general buzz, activity, all those things. So we always thought the 1.19 update would be the big thing that would pull 2B2T out of the death spiral. And I have to say that I don't think it really has. I don't think it really has. You know, it's definitely made people happy. It's made the players that are still here happy. But if you look at like queue numbers and you look at just the general number of people playing, it doesn't seem to have increased at all.
It
Maybe.
definitely feels more. I mean, on that point, Deload, I think it like definitely feels more active.
Yeah.
Like going to spawn has never been more like it's never been more busy at spawn. I think there's like probably people who were playing on the periphery. I'm trying to think of like the cake stand people like Mako and those people like kind of banding together and like laughing at spawn.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's like created opportunities for like it the interest it has created some opportunities for people on the periphery, which is I think really healthy in the community. Like I'm seeing like new faces popping up in new discords and new little projects, and so I think the activity, like if you're looking at like raw units, like how many people are logging in and queuing up, yeah, I probably agree with you. But actually, I think there's more going on. I think there's been a bit of a revitalization, like speaking for my own group. We've been incredibly active over the last like month. And we've had like lots of different people come back and start playing more actively with us. And I think that that's been really, really awesome, whether they're like building out a base or like nuking someone's base.
Hmm.
That's been really exciting to kind of see. And I guess like we're going into this, I kind of hoped that we would like just like what you hope for that the player count would increase and people would be queuing up longer. But I think really what's probably stopping a lot of people playing is like they're not going to go and play $20 a month to like play a Minecraft server. I think like probably it's like an economics question. It's like if if you're in a in a country where the economy is really suffering, $20 USD is like hell. I think I'm paying like 36 or $37 Australian
Yeah.
for a month.
Yeah.
Not to mention, many people have alternate accounts that they'll pay prio for too.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Another
it's
thing to consider as well
really
too, um, the player count on the server has like significantly increased as well.
Oh, has
I
it?
was going to
Like
bring that up
I
too.
saw yesterday,
Yeah.
there were 420, 430 players that were online at a
Yeah,
single
we counted
time.
427.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true. That no, you're right. They did increase the number of players allowed online at any one given time,
That is
yes,
ridiculous, by the way.
which
That is like
maybe is
200 more
why the
people.
queue is shorter.
yes. So I
That's
think more people are paying for and purchasing priority queue, but it doesn't look like it simply because there's more players on the server itself.
yeah. No, okay. No, I think yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I think the number's just harder to see because it's been absorbed by the higher player count. I wasn't thinking about
Yeah.
that.
Like I'd argue there's probably an extra 100 people that are in prio queue at any given time, but they're just on the server now
Yeah.
instead of having to wait in queue and what have you.
I think
So,
part of the issue with hype too is two parts. One is timing. If it had
uh-huh.
happened before, kids went back to school, then it probably would have been more popular. And the second
Yeah,
part, and I think this plays a bigger role, is that the large YouTubers have basically been radio silent on this issue. Even Salcy1 only put out update videos about like the changes that Housemaster was making and like the response from the community, but no real hype push about how 2B is on 1.19 and like things are cool. It's
Yeah.
crazy to me because if it were a year ago, this would have been like
The
Fitz
biggest news
like
ever.
dream come true.
Yeah.
And he hasn't posted for months.
Yeah, I mean, but he's getting something like, he's got thousands of people watching him like live stream on
Million.
QSMP. Yeah, it's huge, right? So like he's doing a different thing. I think like y- you Herm, you raise a really good point. Like, obviously there's a more professional team that are managing the server now, which is good, but they seem to be kind of unprofessional in a lot of other ways. Like I had sent House a sort of, yeah, I sent him an email, um, kind of saying like, who the fuck is doing your PR? This is like actually really dog shit. Like, like, how are you like, if you're planning a product launch, you got to kind of like put yourself in the shoes of your customer and go, like, how are they going to perceive this? How, if we're changing things around, and we're removing things, is that an equivalent? Am I giving an equivalent replacement? Am I giving more value by taking some things away? And obviously, like that math hadn't been run from a PR point of view. And so I kind of said that to him in an email, and it's like, you should be like hiring. I'm sure there are like gaming PR consultants or whatever that could like plan these things out for you because man, if you're like not if you know about 2B2T and to Herm's point, and you're like not like maybe you've logged in once and you queued through and you're interested in playing and you heard the server is updated, but Housemaster screwed it up. Even if he's rolled it back, you probably haven't heard, and he's fixed those problems. You probably haven't heard about that.
That's true. I know
Yeah,
that's
I
true
mean,
for sure. I see YouTube comments with people not knowing.
I mean, and the PR thing and all the administrative stuff. I mean, this is a lot of pressure just to put on Rebang 2001.
So
So true.
That touches on the question, one of our questions we had, which was, did Housemaster make a mistake by reverting the changes? And just also opening it up for general comment about how do you think Housemaster handled this? Was it handled badly? Was it handled as best
It
as he
was handled.
could?
I have a comment on that.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm usually not a conspiracy-minded person, but holy shit, I think he planned this whole thing from the start. He's like,
Yeah.
let's make a really, I don't know if I literally believe this, I'm like on the fence, but it really seems like, hey, let's make a really shitty update, let it simmer for a week or so, and then when I revert it, everyone will think I'm a hero.
I've heard that theory before, and it's like, ooh, that would be devious if that were true.
I don't
Full
Or
of
we wanted to
merit.
catch all the dupes first.
Or yeah,
You
or to
know,
do it just to
like,
catch
you
the
know, do it with
dupes.
that.
That's a good idea.
It seems like a pretty expensive way for him to catch the dupes, really.
Yeah.
Did he catch the dupe?
He definitely
he got
caught one.
one.
He caught
He
one.
got one.
He caught
Yeah.
one.
Was that yours?
Yeah. It was a really good dupe too.
But-
It's
but
like
does
You
anyone
want to comment on it?
Look, but I guess I don't subscribe to that theory, Totorak. I just think that there's a bunch of nerds that are like running this, and nerds don't really think about that kind of stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think? Does anyone
Okay.
here think Housemaster made a mistake by reverting the changes?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
You might be the only
definitely
one
not.
that thinks it was a mistake.
I think if
Oh,
you look at the pros
amazing.
and cons list, there are more
YouTuber
pros.
is-
Hey, Sal's here.
Rejoiced, everyone.
What I miss.
Wow.
Hey guys, this is Sal C1. Everyone probably knows who Sal C1 is.
I
I
am
don't.
that guy.
You didn't miss too much of it, Sal. We just I'll just post the questions that we were talking about, and you can kind of see. We talked a little bit about question 1, and then we were sort of talking about
About the dupe.
the community response, and also did Housemaster handle it well.
I
Okay.
think everyone and their mother knows the answer to this, but we should ask Sal. Do you think the rollback was a mistake, Sal?
Oh, that's a
question.
good joke. No, it was absolutely not a mistake. Very glad that Housemaster caved and gave the community what they wanted. I think for the most part, pretty much a majority of the people are happy because we have 1.19 and all of our shit is no longer gone. So I'm pretty happy.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's true. So Orson, you are the probably only person here. You are the only person here who said you think it was a mistake to revert the changes. In a hypothetical, if he had simply never made these changes at all, I mean, would you have wanted these changes? Probably
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's no. Yes, like
What?
like I was happy with like okay, so we're living in the prime timeline where there was a rollback, right? And I
Yeah.
disagree. I disagree with the circumstances around the rollback, but I don't really care about the result. like the actual like gameplay result. It's fine.
Okay.
It's really good actually. But even if he didn't roll back, the gameplay changes would have been fine as well. It's more the fact that Housemaster used to be this kind of like Old Testament, like uncaring, vengeful, negligent, God, right? That like let the crops wither and like your children starve and things like that. And that's one of the things that I always really enjoyed about 2B2D is that the admin just doesn't really give a fuck, and I guess the community made him give a fuck. And I think that has like probably has implications further down the track as to like how the server is governed. And I think the governance before was fine.
Well, but you
Um,
also said you thought it was a PR disaster. So
that's exactly what I'm trying to get at. I'm like if if it was planned properly, right? Like because it was never just about like upgrading the server software and making it making the 119 game not lag out with hundreds of players. Like it was never like that problem was solved independently of the Housemaster team through the paper folio project. Um, so running a Minecraft server, like anyone can run a Minecraft server. Yes, this is a more complicated one because there's lots of hostile actors poking at it and people trying to lag it, and it's very popular. So yeah, there is some you know it's not an easy thing, but it's not like an impossible thing. I think the really hard thing to do with any change is like you either like have to find that equivalent. Like if you're taking things away, you have to find something valuable to give people. So maybe if we got all the items nerfed, like maybe they're gonna say like, well, we brought back like TNT bombing. It was kind of like a good example of this was like entity speed got patched, and then we some like a short time later we got Elytra Fly, so it didn't really matter. And people were kind of happy with that.
are you? I'm
With
I'm
that,
trying to understand what exactly you're saying. Are you saying that like
It's a
if
give and a take,
if he had
is what he's trying to say.
explained, yeah, I guess. Are you
like, if
saying
he had,
that less communication from Housemaster would be better because then he would be more unreachable or
no, I
something?
mean it's he wouldn't need to be if he anticipate he wouldn't need to do it and hasn't need to do it if he anticipated the needs of the community, right? And I think up until that point, whether it was through inaction or luck, he was anticipating the needs of the community. Like I mean, the whole point of like 2B2T is that it's our story, and our rules, not his rules
Yeah.
necessarily. Like he provides the platform for that story to take place, the stage. What I don't like about this is like it feels like we've broken the fourth wall by being able to talk to Housemaster and get him to do things. And I think that like it depends like what changes happen in future and and now that the community knows that if they hassle House enough and hit him in his hip
Mm,
pocket,
hmm
they can get him to do other things, right? I don't think that is like I think that's
it sets a
fundamentally
bad
the biggest
precedent.
it's fundamentally I think it's the biggest culture change, right? It's not the fact that we
Uh-huh.
got new blocks, right? And there's more players online. It's like yeah, the ability to get House to do things, and I'm uneasy about that.
Yeah,
Um,
like okay, the community
Actually,
bullied
speaking of,
Housemaster into doing something, so that sets a dangerous precedent for the future, is what you're thinking.
can we talk
yeah,
about
and
that? Sorry,
Oh, go ahead, Totorak.
I was
What were
just
you
gonna say,
thinking?
can we talk about that semi-emotional response that Sal got as a response to his first video?
That was
Oh,
bizarre. Yeah,
that
Sal,
was
what do you
funny.
have to say about that? That must have been really weird to read that.
It was honestly surprising when I first got it. I'm like, holy shit! Like a server owner like this giving this kind of response. I mean, it's just incredible. The response that I've gotten to it is just very, very mean spirited. I would say the response. Um, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about
Did
that.
it make you think that this was the original Housemaster? Like this is the OG Housemaster?
Not at all.
Okay.
We still don't know who the actual Housemaster is. Even though I maybe alluded to it in in the follow-up video, but we still don't really have much proof on whether he is actually the owner or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the point that Orson made a minute ago about, does this set a dangerous precedent? The fact that like Sal created a video and a bunch of players refunded and everything, does that set a dangerous precedent of, not necessarily like a dangerous precedent of players thinking that they can refund trial and boycott hard
Well,
enough into getting Housemaster to do like some whatever dumb thing?
where's the danger? Like, people might think they can get something, but if they can't, it doesn't change anything. And if they do, well,
Think about
I'm
the
pretty
No
sure-
Server November folk.
Right, think
Yeah.
about that. Imagine we see that like every single time Housemaster does something that is mildly annoying.
Or like imagine a group of 100 players campaigning to get Phantoms enabled or something.
Right, that would be horrible. Oh God.
Can I say this?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I believe that Housemaster reverted the changes because of just the sheer amount of people requesting refunds. Because at that point, that was affecting his bottom line, straight up. I mean, he would have lost massive amounts of money, and he probably did because of that. So
It would have put him in trouble with his payment processor, that's for sure.
exactly. So this alone, I feel like changes like this, or like the community can only really get what they want if they really come together and they all agree that, hey, we need to start requesting refunds because what House did is really, really terrible. And that was the case this time. But will there be another case where House does something so terrible that we have to make that happen again? I don't really know of really much of anything after this.
Guys, the server is lagging. I have to disable water flowing.
Okay.
Or like, I don't know, something really stupid like that, you know? Like,
I honestly,
it increases
feel like-
lag if I disable lava. I don't know.
But would I
feel like
go and say, like, tell all my viewers, oh, it's House disabled lava, we need to boycott the server, charge back, or I did not say charge back, a refund. You know, like I don't think I would do that.
Wait, really? Hold. Whoa. In some weird hypothetical, and that house, and you know, like tomorrow, Housemaster's like, guys, TPS is too low. I have to disable lava flowing because it's lagging the server. And you don't think there would be the same level of backlash?
But to be honest, lava hasn't
It's not a
been
very good
flowing
example.
properly before.
But okay, but like lava casts would be
I was
impossible.
more disappointed about Enchanted Glass getting removed than I would be upset about lava flow no
Okay,
longer
maybe it's not a
working.
bad example, or maybe it's a. I figured lava
But
It would
flowing
be
is
the
like
new counts
essential,
in the
right?
Nether, actually, it would be great.
Not really. I mean, you could live without it.
Really? Well, okay, what's a
Yes.
change? What's a bad change he could make that people couldn't live without?
I'm
That
telling you, Phantoms. Putting on Phantoms.
putting on
would
phantoms.
cause
Remove dirt.
Constantium has phantoms, and people live with it.
Remove TNT. There, you got a change.
But they also have to live under the rule of James Russell's, you know, so it's a questionable.
To be honest, I would live with Phantoms because it's like part of the vanilla game, but it would suck. It really would suck.
Disable map art in PvP. Imagine
Disable
society.
PvP.
PvP would be incredible.
I wouldn't mind
I would be
phantoms.
very happy with that change.
Imagine he
Yeah.
adds a YouTuber rank that grants you immunity at spawn from being killed.
Dude. That would be amazing.
County.
Because you think you would get it, Herm? Is that why? Oh man.
Can we just talk about like how good it is to actually have like all those new blocks? Like all of the like new
Oh,
black
it's so nice.
stone blocks are like so good. It's
Not
basically
even
all
counting any of the new blocks, just the slab and stair variants of all the blocks that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
quartz brick. so based.
This
Like,
update is great
literally
for builders. It's great for
everything.
builders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And all
I
that
can see
nether
within
stuff.
6 months to a year, we're gonna have some fucking incredible bases that will come out.
So what
Oh,
about the
yeah, I really
the
hope
stash
so.
hunter people, right? They were kind of cucked by this update because chunk trails didn't really work anymore. Are they still upset? Have they figured out a
Dude,
different way to
that's
stash hunt? What's
back
going
in
on with
business.
that?
Back in business. You just follow the old chunks.
Yeah,
I've actually heard that in some regards it's actually easier nowadays to
Yeah.
because you can tell
do
just
that.
by looking at a chunk if it's 1.12, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You
I
know the
predicted
one
it
Yeah.
in my
they
video
did
from
left
2018.
left the chunk calling.
Sorry, Sal.
Oh yeah,
What were you saying?
2B2T, your base will be found or something, right?
Yeah, I said the 1.0, 2B2T is updating to 1.13 soon. And I said, like, oh yeah, you can follow, like, the old chunk trails from, like, whether an ocean has seaweed or not.
Yep.
And, I mean, obviously I was wrong about the server updating in 1.13, but
I guess there was chunk calling before, and now it's less extreme.
Yeah, I guess with the chunk culling being, is it gone entirely or is it just less extreme?
It's gone
apparently it's
entirely.
gone
It's gone
entirely,
entirely.
which is good.
Mm.
Okay.
So when I was doing my survival series, on my channel, I found like a really weird, sort of like 200,000 out. There's these really weird pieces of land where there's a strip of 1.12 terrain where someone was flying, and then there's 1.19 terrain on either side of it. And I literally
Yeah.
found it to where it was like a stripe of 1.12 that's like maybe 3 chunks wide, and then 20 chunks of 1.19, and then another stripe of 1.12, and another chunk of 1.19, and another stripe. Like there was all these stripes of where someone had been searching in like a grid pattern. I don't know what the hell was going
Yeah,
on there.
I think you actually
The
have a
map.
unique perspective on the update, D, because you kind of started over in your survival series. I
Yeah.
don't think any of us have like started from scratch on 1.19 on 2B2T
Uh-huh.
and experienced the things the new player would. I'd love to hear what that experience has been like.
Well, it's way easier. And for one specific reason. There are fish everywhere that you can just punch to death in the water.
Right.
So at spawn, if you need food, there's water everywhere, and you could just go in the water, punch some salmon to death or something, and then you have food. I didn't have to worry about food at all escaping spawn.
We're going to have another Team No Seas.
Yeah. I think post update it's gotten easier to escape spawn. And also, it adds all that new underground below Y0, so you can go get iron and like fresh diamonds and stuff down there that no one has touched.
I have seen
On that,
too. I've seen a number of
with,
people that have gone and already taken wardens and stuff to 0-0. That's been
Yeah,
really funny
Envy
to
has done
watch.
that. We
Yeah,
put
2B2T news.
20 wardens at spawn at some point. It was super funny.
Yeah.
on the new space, have we seen people building on top of the like obsidian eclipse or like withers hollowing out the area below Y6 or Y0?
I don't
It's
think anybody
covered.
has actively worked on that yet.
It's been covered in snow. The eclipse.
Yeah, the eclipse thing's covered in snow, and I'm sure it's going to get destroyed. Like there's no question about that.
Just
Like
give it time.
yeah.
The snow, like with the shovels.
No, yeah. They're going to go out there and shovel it. Gotta maintain the eclipse, guys. Get your shovels. Yeah, that's probably going to get destroyed. We may see a second round of the spawn logo craze. I hope not. But
I don't know. I feel like people are just gonna lava cast iron now because
yeah,
it's not lagging and there's more room for it.
but but what I mean is like, oh, Y level increased. Better go remake the logo at the higher Y level.
How many dubs of ender chests do the spawn masons still have, Todorak?
I think last time he said 40,000.
Yeah, it's millions. You have millions of each. Just
I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Todorak, last time you did say how many.
did. We had like
Entropy told me, Toderac, so you're allowed.
Has
Because
the
I'm
number
an
gone up because
Mason.
y'all have that new court exploit?
what?
And you stole Nox Shop stash? That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true.
That was one map. What are you talking about?
That was Mun. Oh, right.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
take
Mun
orders
map.
from negative
Mm.
entropy. He controls
Forgot about that.
everything I do.
So Sal,
Hi.
do you like in your video you said like if these changes don't get reverted, I don't think I'll play the server anymore or something to that effect, right?
That's right.
Now that the changes are reverted and it's been a month into the update, do you see yourself playing TBTT regularly now?
I already have been. I already remade my spawn exit only map art. I've been just playing on the server. In terms of making videos, maybe like another month or so.
Mm-hmm.
I made an announcement on my YouTube channel through a community post about all that.
Mm-hmm.
If you all haven't seen it, but
I saw that.
yeah. But yeah, I said like at least 2 months.
So you're
before
enjoying
another
the
video.
server as intended, basically.
Very much so. Yeah, I mean, now that like it's normal again, I can enjoy the server, and I want to also say this while I have time to speak. For those who liked the update, who liked the stuff being removed or whatever, I know it's like this isn't like a perfect solution, but like if you want that to happen again for yourself, like you're sad, like everything got rolled back to what it was. Just get rid of all of your ender chests and all of your totems, and congratulations.
You donated to Sal's C1.
Right.
Wow, Sal, I thought it was about the history, not the items. That's what I was told.
It is, yes.
Well, you
but
can destroy the
for the
history
item
yourself
aspect,
if you want.
But it's not. It's not.
I mean, if you like chunk calling, you just want to see the new terrain quicker and destroy older chunks. I don't know about that. Sorry.
There's nothing
That's
stopping
alright.
you from burning all your gapples. I don't know, guys.
Oh, that was the most slurred way of putting it, but I respect it, Sal.
No, I think he's got a point. Like, if people wanted the fresh start and they thought that this was going to be a fresh start, there's no reason why they can't personally go have a fresh start.
I mean, yes, they have to deal with like crystal PvPers still and stuff, but
Yeah.
You deal with mobs more than you do crystal PvPers now.
yeah, good
I'm
point.
having a fresh start. Everyone else must suffer as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I liked about it.
The
to be
meta
honest.
change was actually super interesting. Like it was super interesting because everyone was broke as fuck, and you could just go like people like Spawn wasn't that hostile, which was really interesting. Like I ended up having like a 15-person player meetup at Spawn, and no one was crystalling because I wanted to keep their crystals, and it was actually kind of cool.
Except for you guys, since you had to do.
Yeah, but that didn't come
Everyone's
out
throwing shade now in
after.
this.
Yeah.
I threw a little bit of shade earlier, I have to confess. But now, like, it's like, oh, you had an update. Or
I
you
still
had
want
a
that
dupe.
dupe, by the way.
You had a dupe.
I am
If it
actually
works.
out, and I just want to say that my opinion is still. I think I'm like 99% with 99% of all the rest of people and think it's good. So I don't really have too much more to add. So I'm gonna head out.
All right, thanks for being here,
Yeah.
Todorek.
Have a good
Alright,
day, Todorek.
Good night, Todorek.
Let's get to question 2, which was, do you think the community response was appropriate? And then also, do you think it was effective? So when I say the community response, I don't mean Sal's video, because I think Sal's video was totally appropriate and effective. I'm mostly talking about like everyone else, like the union people and everyone that was like boycotting and that kind of thing. Who wants to take that first?
I mean, I thought that the union people were being like really soy and just like yapping and yapping. And then like it was kind of cringe how like Freedom and Save G thought that they single-handedly saved the server, but it was really just Sal.
Yeah,
Slager, actually.
right.
Yeah, Lajer did it. Yeah.
I think probably all of us agree the 2B2T union, I mean, they did encourage a lot of people to refund, and I think that certainly had an effect. But there's nothing that got Hausemasters' attention more than one of the big YouTubers making a video calling him out. I think that's just, there's no question that that was one of the biggest contributing factors.
I will say, so from the 2B2T union, I saw their whole thing was like, hey, we gotta affect his bottom line here. We need to like have as many people refund as possible. And I'm like, okay, I hate these changes too. I want to do something about this. And it was a pretty good idea. Like, just refund. I feel like it's appropriate too, because we had no notice, which I understand, like, you know, if he gave notice to this, everyone would, you know, make a big stink about it.
Or try to
before the
find a
update even
way
happened.
to circumvent the change.
Yeah, but like, I felt like, you know, that could work if enough people did it. And it proved itself, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but there were other like tactics that they were planning in that. I don't know if you spent much time in that Discord. I mean, I spent a lot of
let's
time.
read them.
Sorry?
Let's read the other tactics.
Okay.
Well, what are they? I want to know.
Oh, the tactics. Sorry, I couldn't understand you. I mean, that I'm thankful for like that they didn't really get executed, but there was this whole plan on like doxing Housemaster and DDoSing Tebex, and there are all sorts of like pretty, you know, quasi-legal things that were like discussed in that Discord, including like my own docs being posted like multiple times for just even opposing the rollback. So I'd say that like it was pretty like toxic, but not in a fun way.
The whole time I was in there, I was like debating leaving. Basically the whole time. I was like, yeah, I do support the changes getting rolled back, but I genuinely thought there was no chance it could happen. I really didn't think there was any chance it could happen. I was pleasantly surprised when the poll went up and everything. And it's hard for us to really know how much of an effect they had. But the question is, you know, do you think the response was appropriate? And I think some people's response was appropriate and other people's responses weren't. And I guess it just goes to show, you know, the toxic side of the community.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was just a lot of yapping in a Discord, to be honest.
Kinda, yeah. Pretty much.
I will have to say, when I heard about the changes, I was so distraught by them that I just thought to myself for a while, fuck it. I'm not even going to make a video. I'm just done.
Uh-huh.
And if I would have done that, this rollback would have never happened.
I agree. It would never. You're right. Yeah.
And I'm glad I did what I did. I didn't, to be honest, I didn't really think it would work. I'm like, but I had to try. I mean, what did we have to lose?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No,
You're
you did
right
the right
about it.
thing. I think you're kind of a hero to the community for doing that.
Yeah. I mean, and FitMC didn't even show up, so that's kind of cringe.
Still hasn't done a single
Oh,
thing.
and here's why. So I was also considering the fact too, okay, let's just wait for Fit to make his video. But I don't know where I heard this, but I think like Fit wasn't going to say like, I was saying like straight up, how do I say this? I wanted to say like, hey, I'm going to quit, and I was going to quit if he didn't, you know, fix this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I heard, Fit wasn't going to do that.
I mean, your content has always been more dynamic than Fit's too, I think.
So I'm like, okay, someone has to do this, you know? I'm sure Fit was going to drop a big bombshell, and I was kind of excited for it. I hope he still does. I mean, I hope I'm really excited for whatever video he has to show for this after the aftermath, but
I think he's done.
I hope not.
That's a growing concern. I mean, it has been it's been over 2 months now.
He's on Twitch every day.
Yeah, he's still
He's
around.
also streaming.
He's on Twitch,
QSAP,
but is he
though.
on 2B on Twitch is the question.
No, he's
He's
only
making-
ever played
He's making
QSAP.
bank there, dude. Like he would be making serious bank. Like YouTube commissions are something like, you know, like to do like, you know, I think like 2 or 3 months at his level of number of subscribers are like that honey thing, right? Would have been worth like maybe 30K USD. He's probably doing that every month on Twitch. Easy.
Twitch is very
When I had
valuable.
like 500 people following me on Twitch, I think I was literally making like $500 a month or something.
Let's not get too far off track
Oh,
here.
Sal, I just want to say as well, like when we were watching your video, like in the fifth column Discord when it came out, and we all like we agreed that it was all fucked, but you know we were playing anyway. But one thing that we did have a good giggle about was just like the sound of the rage in your voice. Like there was like a certain part about it where it was like clear that you were coping, and we were like, "Oh yeah, he's mad." Like,
I was. I mean, everything I
Yeah.
said, like, it was genuine. Everything was
Yeah.
genuine.
Well, part of the reason people love your channel, Sal, I think, is that you're very genuine. And I think
Try to
you're
be.
a bit more in touch with the community, or you certainly were on this, very in touch with the community.
yeah. I think this is a great opportunity for you, Sal, and other content creators around 2B2T. Like Fit has filled like a huge volume of space for so long on the server, and I think there's like more stories to tell and like different and more refreshing formats.
Yeah.
His videos have gotten very like very, very, very polished in that way. Like you
It
know,
became a cookie cutter.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he works really hard on them, but like that's also like
It all
I
felt like the same video at the end of the day.
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Nobody
I
wants
love
to tell the
Fit, but I
story of
think
the
there's a
puppet
place for
yeah.
Sal and Fit.
Yeah,
The server needs
but
both of them.
it almost seems like Fit has just stepped away from the community, whether that be permanent or temporary. And I think it's a good opportunity for a quote unquote new generation of popular YouTubers on 2B to come and take his place.
I mean, people that play on that
That
point,
seems
like
optimistic.
people who actually play, like Sal plays the game with
Yeah.
us. And I think that's really, really exciting. I think like I had this conversation with Fit like many times, right? The videos where he was having his own adventures on the server, like were always my favorite ones. Like always my favorite ones.
I agree.
Yeah,
They were
like
so
him going
fun to
out,
watch. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
him going nuking that Nazi base of Offtopias and like doing all of that stuff because that's like what playing the server is actually like. It was cool.
Okay, let's get to our final question. Are you and your friends still enjoying the server 1 month after the update, or has the hype died? We did sort of already touch on this a little bit earlier on, but let's just get everyone's response to this. And this can kind of act as a closing thought as well. Sirach, what do you have to say about that?
In the past month, I have played more than I have in the previous 2 years.
Have your
If
friends
that
also
says
been playing?
yes.
Okay.
I have it's hard because I have a older friend group, so a lot of us have lives and stuff, so we aren't able to spend as much time on 2B and everything. But all of us still come together and we still actively play on the server, and all have a great time doing it.
That's good. That's good. So, thumbs up from Sirach.
Very much so.
For me, we're all still here, and me and the Dawn Fear guys, we were committed to staying on 2B regardless of what ended up happening. I am very happy the changes got reversed. But we had this whole proxy system with like a bunch of different accounts all hooked up to it, and it was all running smoothly. And when the update happened, it basically broke everything. So activity for us has been kind of jacked up right now. I think it'll recover because once we get that stuff fixed. But yeah, everyone's happy at least. Herm, go ahead. What do you have?
Yeah, I'd agree. My friends that play on the server are way happier about it than they seem to have been before. So that's good. Me personally, I just haven't had the time to get back into it really, but I'm sure it'll be enjoyable again, and it'll be nice to have my old Ender chest back for sure. Closing thought is just, it's very easy to make the millennial comparison that 2B2T is just like the Marvel movies, where we got everything Thanos snapped, but then the good guys won in the end, and we got the Thanos snap reversed.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. Herm,
I love your analogies, Ham.
that's a wonderful analogy. It's just like Avengers or something.
It's just like my favorite superhero movies, guys.
Okay,
Good.
Orson, what are your thoughts? Or are you and your friends enjoying the server
Um,
more now, 1 month
And
in?
we've been nuking a lot of bases recently, so we're having an amazing time. I think we've nuked the spawn masons like 3 times in the last like week and a half, and it's been based. Um, and there's also all these new friend groups that are coming up, and lots of people wanting to be like involved in the fifth column. So like, our people, our agents, our insiders are out there in your groups right now, collecting chords, collecting info, and yeah, it's been super fun. This is actually what we've been waiting for, is this update, and it's really interesting as well. Like for us as well, it's like with more people like creating projects and being more active. It's like there's a lot of space here for our group to grow. Like I don't know what happened. Like BSB has been like completely inactive, so there's been like little competition from that front for a while, but they seem to be kind of a dead group now. So we're in overdrive at the moment, and it's been super fun.
Donphier finally outlasted our enemies. Sorry. Okay. So, in other words, the griefers are happy.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Pasta, what do you have to say about that?
We've all been super active. We have a 30 people VC every day. It's great. We still have SBA 55. That hasn't been grief in a month. So, like, Orson, get your shit together. You have a base to grief. It's like under 10K. What are you doing?
Wait, that means it's not even in new chunks.
No SBA bases. All SBA bases have been under 10K.
I thought you would want to go out and at least be in the 1.19 terrain, right?
Not really, because our members are lazy and they have
Oh,
lazy legs.
okay.
Mm, But we still have new blocks. I mean,
Um,
we go get them and we bring them back.
Well, it's good to
It's
hear
super easy.
that SPA is doing well. Sal, how
Yeah,
I know you said you've been playing some, but are you and your friend group generally happy?
We are so excited with the update. We have been building a new terrain. Like I said, I immediately rebuilt my spawn exit only map art, one of my beloved map art pieces. And I just love the new locking feature where you can lock a map art and don't have to worry about being grief. So I literally built it super close to spawn. Hell, I could even drop the coordinates here. I don't even give a shit. But yeah, it's just so fun. Been loving the update. My friend group, Last Templar, has also been enjoying the update a ton. We're just full speed ahead right now.
Hmm. Awesome. Good. Well, everybody, I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. I hope this gives you a little bit of an idea of what's going on inside the 2BTT community 1 month after the update. It was, a really controversial event. If you haven't seen the first podcast where we give our initial reactions, you can go check that out as well. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everybody for participating in this discussion. I think it was a really, really fruitful conversation. Thanks, everybody.